Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and the money in your wallet, every dollar bill, every coin you've been saving since childhood is worth 30% less than it was when you went to sleep. No warning, no vote, no choice. Now imagine you're a 67-year-old man named Gerald. He spent 40 years driving trucks across the American heartland. Rain, snow, black ice on Wyoming highways at 3 a.m. Gerald showed up every single time. He saved $190,000 for retirement. In cash! In a savings account at a bank he'd trusted since 1987. By 2023, after inflation quietly devoured his purchasing power year after year, that $190,000 could only buy what $130,000 used to buy. Gerald didn't lose a single dollar in his account, but he lost $60,000 of real wealth. And nobody came on the news to explain it, nobody got arrested, nobody apologized. Now here's the question that nobody in mainstream media will ask you directly. What if the system that was supposed to protect your money is actually the thing stealing it? My name is Ria, and today we are going inside the most important financial revolution of your lifetime. Cash, crypto, artificial intelligence, and what the next 10 years mean for every single dollar you own. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're gonna see money in a way you've never seen it before.
Let me tell you the story of money. The real story, not the version they taught you in school. Money is not a thing. It never was. Money is a story, a shared belief, a collective agreement between millions of strangers that says this piece of paper or this digital number on a screen has value. That's it. For most of human history, money was gold and silver, physical, scarce, real. You couldn't print more of it overnight. Kings and queens went broke trying. Economies rose and fell based on how much gold was in the ground. Then, in 1913, everything changed. The United States created the Federal Reserve, a central bank with the power to control the money supply. And for a while, every dollar was still backed by gold. You could theoretically walk into a bank and exchange your paper money for real gold. This was called the gold standard. Then came August 15th, 1971. President Richard Nixon sat in front of a television camera and did something that would reshape the global economy for the next 50 years, though almost nobody understood it at the time. He ended the gold standard. Just like that, the dollar became what economists call fiat currency, from the Latin fiat, meaning let it be done. The dollar now had value simply because the government said it did. And here's where the story gets dark. When money is no longer anchored to anything real, it can be created infinitely. And when governments and central banks create too much of it, the value of every dollar already in circulation goes down. This is called inflation. And while economists talk about it like a weather pattern, something natural and inevitable, the truth is more unsettling. Inflation is a hidden tax. Every year, quietly, invisibly, the purchasing power of your savings is transferred away from you, to governments, to financial institutions, to the system itself. Gerald's story? That's not bad luck. That's the system working exactly as designed. Now, flash forward to 2020. A global pandemic shuts down the world economy. And in response, the U.S. government does something unprecedented. It prints $6 trillion in less than 2 years. For context, that is more money created in 24 months than in the entire prior history of the United States. And then, right on cue, inflation hits 9.1% in June 2022, the highest in 40 years. Groceries, gas, rent, housing, everything costs more. And working-class Americans, the Geralds of this country, get crushed. Meanwhile, asset holders, people who own stocks, real estate, and, yes, crypto, actually got richer during the stimulus boom. The rich got richer. The rest got inflation. So when people ask me, why does crypto matter? Why does AI matter for finance? I tell them, start here. Start with understanding that the system we trusted with our money has a structural problem built into its foundation. And now, For the first time in human history, there are alternatives. Real ones. Let's talk about cash. Physical, tangible, paper in your pocket cash. It's dying. Not dead yet, but dying. Here's the data. In 2019, cash represented about 26% of all U.S. transactions. By 2023, that number dropped to 18%. And projections show that by 2030, it could fall below 10%. Think about that. Within the next decade, cash might become a rounding error in the American economy. Now, before you say so what, I need you to understand what the disappearance of cash actually means. Because this isn't just about convenience. Cash is the only form of money that is truly private. When you hand someone a $20 bill, no bank records it, no algorithm tracks it, no government agency can freeze it with a click. Cash is freedom. Imperfect, inconvenient, increasingly irrelevant freedom. But freedom. Every digital payment you make is a data point. Your bank knows where you ate lunch, what medications you bought, whether you gave money to a church, a political campaign, a controversial cause. Now, I'm not saying your bank is evil. But think about what it means to live in a world where every financial transaction you ever make is permanently recorded and accessible. In China, they already have a social credit system that can restrict what you buy based on your behavior. In Canada, in 2022, the government froze the bank accounts of truckers who were protesting government policy without a court order, without due process. One executive order, and hundreds of citizens suddenly couldn't access their own money. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to wake you up. Because here's the thing about cash dying. What replaces it matters enormously. And right now, there are two candidates fighting for that throne. The first is something governments love. More than 130 countries are currently exploring or developing their own digital currency. China already has the digital yuan. The European Union is building the digital euro. And yes, the United States Federal Reserve has been researching a digital dollar for years. A CBDC sounds boring. Just a digital version of the dollar, right? Wrong. A CBDC gives the government capabilities it has never had before. Programmable money, meaning they can code in expiration dates, use it by a certain date, or it disappears. This sounds insane. China has already tested it. Spending restrictions. Money that can only be used for approved categories. Instant freeze capability. No court order needed, just a switch. Total transaction visibility. Every purchase, everywhere, forever. One former Federal Reserve official called the digital dollar the most powerful surveillance tool ever created. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, I don't have anything to hide. Why does this affect me? Let me answer that with a story. Her name was Maria, a small business owner in Miami, immigrant family, built a cleaning company from scratch over 15 years, paid her employees in cash because many of them were unbanked. They didn't have bank accounts. Completely legal, completely normal in her industry. But when her bank flagged some transactions as suspicious, they froze her account under anti-money laundering rules. It took 4 months and $12,000 in legal fees to unfreeze. Maria hadn't done anything wrong. She was just operating outside the patterns that an algorithm expected. In a CBDC world, that kind of mistake doesn't take 4 months to fix. It happens in 4 seconds. Now here's the second candidate to replace cash. And this one, the government does not love. October 31, 2008. The global financial system has just had a heart attack. Lehman Brothers collapsed. The stock market lost half its value. Millions of Americans lost their homes. The banks that caused the crisis got bailed out with taxpayer money. And somewhere in an online forum under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, a white paper is published. 9 pages, simple title. Nobody paid attention. Nerds on the internet got excited. That was it.
1 year later, on January 3, 2009, the first Bitcoin block is mined. Inside it, Satoshi embedded a message, a newspaper headline from that day. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It wasn't an accident. It was a declaration. Bitcoin was built as a direct response to the failure of the financial system, an alternative, an escape hatch.
Now let me explain what makes Bitcoin, and crypto more broadly, fundamentally different from every other form of money that has ever existed. Rule number 1, fixed supply. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Ever. It's written into the code. No president can change it. No central bank can override it. No emergency can justify printing more. Compare that to the dollar, where the Federal Reserve can, and does, create hundreds of billions with a keystroke. Scarcity is the foundation of value. Bitcoin has it built in by mathematics. The dollar has it removed by politics. Rule number 2, decentralization. Bitcoin doesn't live in any bank. It doesn't run on any single server. It exists across tens of thousands of computers around the world simultaneously. To shut down Bitcoin, you'd have to shut down the entire internet. Rule number 3, borderless and permissionless. Right now, right this second, you could send $1 million worth of Bitcoin to someone in Venezuela, Ukraine, or Nigeria. No bank approval, no wire transfer fees, no 3 to 5 business days. In minutes. That's not just convenience. For billions of people living under corrupt governments, collapsing currencies, or locked out of banking systems, that is survival. In Venezuela, when hyperinflation hit and a bag of groceries cost 1 million bolivars, people converted to Bitcoin and held on to what little wealth they had. In Ukraine, when Russia invaded in 2022, the government raised $100 million in crypto donations in days. Because crypto can't be seized by an invading army. It can't be frozen by a hostile foreign government. It exists in your head, in a 12-word passphrase that you carry with you wherever you go. Yes, crypto is volatile, dramatically volatile. Bitcoin went from $69,000 in November 2021 to $16,000 in November 2022. That's a 77% drop. That's brutal. People lost money, real money, life savings. And yes, there have been frauds. FTX, Celsius, Luna. People went to prison. Billions were lost. I'm not going to pretend that didn't happen. But here's the context that nobody gives you. Every transformative technology in American history looked like a scam at some point. The railroad boom of the 1840s had catastrophic busts before it changed the country. The dot-com crash of 2000 wiped out 78% of the NASDAQ. Amazon stock fell 94%. Google didn't exist yet. And yet, the internet was real. The crashes didn't kill the technology. They killed the weak versions of it. And what's left after the crashes? Stronger foundations, better regulations, institutional adoption. Today, BlackRock, Fidelity, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs all offer Bitcoin products to their clients. In January 2024, the SEC approved Bitcoin ETFs, allowing any American with a brokerage account to invest in Bitcoin as easily as buying a stock. Institutions now hold more than 1 million Bitcoin. That's nearly 5% of all Bitcoin that will ever exist, held by some of the most sophisticated financial entities on Earth. This isn't the fringe anymore. This is mainstream finance, quietly repositioning itself for a new era. Now we get to the part that keeps economists, technologists, and governments up at night. What happens when you add artificial intelligence to the future of money?
Let me paint you a picture. It's 2 a.m. on a Tuesday on a server farm in Ashburn, Virginia, and AI is executing 40,000 stock trades per second. It's analyzing earnings calls, Twitter sentiment, weather patterns, satellite imagery of Walmart parking lots, and ocean freight data simultaneously, all to make microsecond decisions about where money should flow. This isn't science fiction. This is today. About 73% of all trading volume on U.S. stock exchanges is now driven by algorithmic systems, many of them AI-powered. The stock market you think is driven by human logic and analysis? It's mostly machines, talking to machines, trading with machines.
But here's where it gets interesting for ordinary Americans. For the first time in history, AI is beginning to give everyday people access to tools that used to be reserved for the ultra-wealthy. Your grandfather had a stockbroker who charged him $100 per trade and called once a month. Your father had online trading, but still had to do his own research. You're entering a world where an AI can analyze your complete financial picture in seconds, build a personalized investment strategy based on your goals, risk tolerance, and timeline, automatically rebalance your portfolio, flag suspicious transactions in real time, negotiate your credit card rates, file your taxes, help you decide whether to rent or buy in your specific zip code based on 50 variables. Companies like Betterment, Wealthfront, and SoFi are already doing versions of this, and the AI powering these systems gets smarter every single year. The wealthy have always had teams of advisors. AI is beginning to give everyone access to that same level of guidance at nearly zero cost. That is genuinely revolutionary. The dark side: AI and financial fraud. But every technology is a double-edged sword. And this one cuts deep. In 2023, a woman in Arizona received a phone call. She heard her daughter's voice, screaming and crying. Then a man's voice, "We have your daughter. Send $50,000 in crypto or you'll never see her again." The mother panicked. She nearly wired the money. Her daughter was safe at college. The voice was a deep fake generated by AI from 30 seconds of voice samples scraped from social media. FBI data shows AI-powered fraud is now the fastest-growing financial crime in America. Investment fraud losses hit $4.57 billion in 2023 alone, a 38% increase in a single year. AI can generate fake financial advisors with realistic profiles and video calls, deepfake videos of Elon Musk telling you to send crypto to an address, hyper-personalized phishing emails that reference your real transactions, your real employer, your real family members' names, fake trading platforms that show you fake profits until you try to withdraw. The same AI that's democratizing finance is also weaponizing fraud at industrial scale. This is not a reason to ignore AI or crypto, but it is a reason to understand them deeply so you're not a target. The bigger picture: AI and the banking system. Now zoom out, way out. What does it mean for employment, for the American workforce, when AI can do banking, accounting, financial advising, insurance underwriting, and loan processing better, faster, and cheaper than humans? The World Economic Forum estimates that 85 million jobs globally could be displaced by AI and automation by 2025. And financial services is one of the most exposed sectors. Bank tellers, largely gone. Loan officers, increasingly automated. Financial analysts at major banks, already being replaced by AI tools that can process 10,000 documents a day. Even lawyers and accountants who specialize in financial work are feeling the pressure. But here's the other side of that story, the one the doom and gloom takes leave out. Every technological revolution in American history has destroyed jobs and created new ones. The car destroyed the horse and buggy industry and created millions of jobs in manufacturing, roads, oil, and transportation. AI is already creating entirely new roles. AI ethics officers, blockchain auditors, DeFi protocol analysts, digital asset compliance specialists, AI-powered financial advisors who use the tools to give better human guidance. The transition will be painful for many people. Real lives will be disrupted. That's worth acknowledging with honesty and empathy.
But on the other side of that disruption, a financial system that is more efficient, more accessible, and more powerful than anything that's ever existed.
Let's talk about where all of this is going. Because here's the thing, most people are walking into the future of money completely unprepared. They're making decisions about their financial lives based on assumptions that were true in 1990, but are rapidly becoming obsolete. So let me give you a clear-eyed picture of what the next decade likely holds. Scenario 1, the CBDC world. Government-backed digital currencies become the standard. Cash is phased out for convenience. The digital dollar makes tax collection automatic, payments instant, and fraud dramatically reduced. But privacy? Gone. Financial autonomy? Limited. The ability to make transactions that the government doesn't track? Over. In this world, money becomes an instrument of behavioral control. Spend too much on alcohol? Your healthcare costs go up automatically. Political donation flagged as problematic? Good luck getting that government contract. This scenario isn't paranoia. Every piece of the infrastructure for this world is being built right now. Scenario 2, the crypto world. Bitcoin and Ethereum become the reserve layer of a parallel financial system. People in developed countries use them as inflation hedges. People in developing countries use them as their primary banking system. DeFi protocols provide lending, savings, and investment services without intermediaries. The unbanked 1.4 billion people globally get access to financial services for the first time through a smartphone. Governments push back hard. Regulations, restrictions, outright bans in some countries. But the technology is too distributed to fully stop. A new financial ecosystem emerges alongside the old one. In this world, financial sovereignty becomes possible for anyone with internet access. Scenario 3, the hybrid world. This is the most likely outcome, and honestly, the most interesting. Governments implement CBDCs for everyday transactions, but crypto persists as a parallel system, legal, regulated, integrated into mainstream finance, but retaining its core properties of scarcity and decentralization. AI manages the vast majority of financial operations, from global trading to individual budgeting, but human advisors remain essential for context, ethics, and the things algorithms can't feel. Cash survives, barely, as a niche tool for privacy and emergencies. The people who thrive in this world will be those who understand how to navigate both systems, who hold some digital gold as insurance, who use AI tools without being manipulated by them, who maintain enough financial literacy to know when to trust the algorithm and when to override it. That said, what this means for you right now. Okay, let's get personal. I'm not here to tell you to put your life savings into Bitcoin. I'm not here to sell you a course. I'm not here to tell you the system is collapsing and you need to buy gold from some company that's sponsoring this video. I'm here because I genuinely believe that the people who take the time to understand what's happening with money right now will be in a fundamentally different position in 10 years than those who don't. So here are 5 things. Concrete, actionable, not financial advice. Just things worth knowing. 1. Understand inflation. Not just as a concept, but personally. Calculate how much purchasing power you've lost in the last 3 years. Go do it. It'll shock you, and that shock is productive. 2. Look at Bitcoin seriously, not as a get-rich-quick play, as an asset with fixed supply in a world of infinite money printing. Even if you decide it's not for you, understand why before you dismiss it. 3. Watch the CBDC conversation. The Federal Reserve's FedNow system launched in 2023. The digital dollar infrastructure is being built. Pay attention to what your lawmakers are saying about financial privacy. This is not a left or right issue. It's a freedom issue. 4. Use AI financial tools carefully. Apps that automate savings, analyze spending, and build investment strategies have genuinely gotten powerful. Use them, but never give any digital platform more access to your finances than you'd give a stranger. Read the terms, understand the data model. 5. Diversify your mental model of money. The belief that keeping dollars in a savings account is safe while Bitcoin is risky is worth examining. At 5% annual inflation, a savings account earning 0.5% interest is a guaranteed way to lose purchasing power. Risk isn't just volatility,
Risk is also slow, invisible erosion.